almost Shabbat Shalom. We're looking at the Sea of Galilee, at the Sea of the Galil, the Sea of the Galil. That's the east side of the Kinneret. The Kinneret is the name of this huge big lake. And it hasn't been very high recently. If you're able to look further away, you can see that there are strips of land. And those strips of land is how low the water went. So that's kind of, but this is beautiful. Look at this. This is really gorgeous. It's complete harmony, huh? That's nice. Yeah, I'm going to put it here. I have an audience on the second deck of the house. My family. And here, let me show you something. I got my flip glasses. Whoop. You see me now? You see me not? You see me now? Anyway, so I'll take those off because it's much better like that. Let's see what I want to make sure you don't have those. I don't have, but anyway, you can see all this beauty behind me. I just want to block all of it, just some of it, not all of it. There you go. All right. So since been here, came to Israel, see with my family probably like almost 3 weeks ago, and for me it was quite the adventure coming to, and it's just everywhere. It's not really the family; it's really how I am, how my relationship is, where I came from, with what I identified with for so many years, and again, and if we understand that time has no, in a sense, importance, then it's just an event. It was an event that took me through these tunnels and through these valleys of my growth, of my life, and gave me new understandings. And many times we're being, we can look at it as shielded, but when you're shielded with the blindfold, you're not, it's the illusion that you are being shielded. That's right, it's the illusion that something is shielding you to protect you. The question is, do you need protection? The question is, what is it? What is that which is trying to protecting you from? And so it's really interesting to see how coming into nature eliminates everything. Coming into nature, coming into this. I need to know if. Let's see. Okay, let's try it again. Just need to know if the audio is good and if there's too much noise. Oh, hello, Alisa. I just need to know if the noise level is too noisy. Is it bearable? Is it? So just let me know in the comments. All right. So Shabbat Shalom. So it's really discovering, coming to a place where so before the Quranic era, I came here and I had all this romanticism, right? Romanticism about the place, about something I guess I was looking for. Right? And then the Quranic era happened. And a lot of things happened during the Quranic era that actually woke me, and not just me, many people up. Woke people up. Aside from the fact of what is happening on the surface. And when I mean on the surface, Okay, so there is noise. So when I say on the surface, aside from what's on the surface, from the story that is happening, I'm going to move to a different place actually to make sure that we less wind. Here, if I stand near a wall here, that will maybe be a better sound control, so to speak. Okay. So, let's see here. No. Here, yes. Okay. There you go. To make you straight here. I'll make you straight. Yofi עכשיו. Yofi. Good. Okay. Alrighty. Thank you very much. Thank you, Alisa. So we have the northern part of the Kinneret. We change sides every time. All right. So I realized that coming back to this place, to here, to Israel, 3 years later, changed a lot, because aside from what's happening on the surface, why this is happening, why the Quranic era happened, and really how does it fit into a certain plan, and the fact that I've counted only from Jaffa to Tzfat, only on the highway, around 100 5G towers, right? And everything is tied with everything. We can see how the tools are being used to exercise certain control, if you will, right? Or certain appearance of giving the audience what they want, but on the other side doing something else. So that is even on the story level. Even that is on the story level. Even the last step, really, the serious final solution, is the coming inside to our body. That is, and by our will, to come inside to our body. So this is the surface, and the surface is the story, because the story is triggering us to change. Look at these last 2 years, 3 years. There are so many changes socially, so many changes internally, so many changes and so many conflicts. Because there are changes, when there are changes, there are going to be conflicts. Because when there are changes, some people or somebody is losing their status quo of whatever that status quo is. So they lose that. So there is a fear of losing a position. Now, unless people are, if there is an understanding and an enlightenment and an opening and understanding that everything here is really a game that is calling us to step into something new, right? If you don't see that, then you're part of the game. Then you keep going back into the same stories, into the same dishing, into the same he said, she said, in the same, why did you say to me like this, in the same, it's the same thing, it's being the same dishing, it's the same thing. And it doesn't come out. It's like an LP record. Remember the LP records, right? When you had a little scratch and the needle will go da 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 da. It's the same thing. It's not going to go out of that, because there is this dent in it, and they don't want to go out of it. Many times they don't want to go out of it. So in this situation, in this story level, we're being occupied. We're being this portion of the week is chuKat. Now I'm in Israel, so again, the portion of the week in Israel is one ahead. I'm going based on whereas in the States, for those of you who are joining me from the States and from wherever that be. Right? This chuKat is about the purification. But talking about the contamination, the tameh, it's tet, the 9th letter, the 40th letter, and the 1st letter, tameh. So that's 50 levels of. So talking about, but what is tameh? To understand what is tameh, comes from the word atum, comes from the word closed, comes from the word shielded or blindfolded. Blindfolded. How blindfolded? Why are you protecting me? Well, go shopping, go go do this, go do this. Fast internet, yeah, right. We allow you to see where your family is, right? It's all to wake us up. Why? Because we're giving you what you want, but really underneath something else is happening. Something else is happening. This is an opportunity to wake up. Why? Because we have been for actually a long time before the First and Second World started. We are in a Third World War. This is a war in our consciousness. And we're being shielded, being told that we're being shielded, but what we're being put is this blindfold, so we don't see what actually is really happening. Is being shielded by a blindfold is actually not being shielded, is being lied to, is being told stories. So we can continue and go shopping, go do the cool stuff, go horseback riding, go do all the cool stuff with the family. But take the shot, yeah? Well, go do all this kind of stuff. And it's giving us the toys to continue and play, to continue and dish around, to continue and go around. I counted about 100 G5 towers. My camera, I filmed each one of them until I got to 76, and then my camera died battery. The battery died. But there were about 100 only from that route, on that route. And now, when I'm saying I counted, it's not that I counted like, it was like to the right of the highway or maximum like 300 feet from the highway, 400 feet or something like that. Like in that vicinity, just in that route, and there were other also in buildings. Not just towers, there were our G5 in constructions, antennas on top of Dizengoff corner of Gordon. I want somebody's looking, somebody's in Tel Aviv. You go check it out. Dizengoff corner of Gordon. You look up in the building, on top of the building, the whole G5 construct. This is changing, this is altering the Earth's frequency. Everything is sound, everything is frequency. We are in frequency. When we have lower frequency, we attract the same frequency. When we have higher frequency, we attract higher frequency. There is no good or bad in the universe movement. It is, this goes up, this goes down, this goes up, this goes down. You know, it's like we put the interpretation, good, bad, how it affects our story. Does it affect our story nice? Do we like it? Do we not like it? Let me move it a little bit back so that we'll see a little bit more instead of this wall. But I know why I moved here, because of the noise, but let's try again. So, you know, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's all part of the same thing. I counted about 100. Actually, since we're talking about the monster, there's a monster over there, the blue, the red and white. I don't know if you can see what I'm saying. Yeah. The red and white tower, the tall, thin red and white tower. All this on top is the infrastructure, is the network, or the recipients, the receptors, the connectors. Right? And there are all of, I can see another one down there, another mountain. And I can see another one down there near the water. It's like, and the distance, you know, to think about the distance of, like, if you are in New York City, that kind of a distance. You know, this is not Idaho. You see a potato over there? Yes, over there. Anyway, but this is the story, because we're here to, this is about waking us up. It's about waking us up, realizing that there are forces, that there are places that want to keep us in that bondage place. Oops, I think my head thing again. There are those forces that want to keep us in this bondage places. So the portion of the week, chuKat, is talking about this contamination, tameh. They come from the word closeness, but to be closed, like a vacuum. That's exactly it, like a vacuum, being in a vacuum. It's like being in a vacuum. This is what it is. Now, you can say, oh, it protects me. Yeah, sure, it protects you, but you stay the same and you are in this thing. Or you're being shielded, you're being blindfolded from seeing really what is happening. And we're being contaminated by our own desires. We're being contaminated by our own patterns, by our own doings were being contaminated because these doings, these understanding of how to do things, the way that we're doing things, comes from an old way of thinking, and it's not an old, from a fearful way of thinking. A fearful way of thinking. I remember here coming in the family, growing, and I see everything like a movie. Everything is happening like a movie, and it's to see how sometimes also when I get triggered, which I have, and that went boom because I realized where I am, and that opened me up again to realize to see everything like a movie. Everything is a movie, and our lives, our existence is only a frame of the entire movie. And so now, who steps very well into these categories of taking power and asserting powers? Bullies. Bullies do that. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called bullies. So bullies do that. Bullies recognize and I don't think necessarily all the time consciously. It's like an animalistic thing. Bullies recognize when somebody is in a certain position that gives them to assert their own power because of their own lack in their own things, in their own lives, in their own way of looking, and they are not even aware of it. They're just operating like at an animalistic level, on the where the liver is. They operate on that level. So a dog sees meat, runs, boom. There's no right. So it's in the same category, in the same capsule. Now, this is I've seen many when I came here in Israel. Many bullies surfaced. I've seen people around me, people that I talked with, people that just like many people are bullies, and what it is, these bullies are really they're wounded. They just don't know they're wounded. It's like a wounded dog that you find on the street, right? And this wounded dog is just like vicious, right? Or like those kids that they train in Africa to be soldiers, right? They don't even they're right in it. Now, yes, everybody's here to take responsibility and about actions, about what we do. But nevertheless, if we recognize these things in other people, if we recognize that the bully is doing what he's doing because he doesn't even know better, then first of all, our response ceases from being a reaction. Our response ceases from being a reaction, and we start responding, understanding. I don't need to get into this thing here, you know. We can look at it as disconnecting. We can look at it as it's not worth it. We can look at it as like, okay, that's okay, And we get triggered. It's not that we don't get triggered. We get triggered, but it's a process. It's what I all the time talk about. Trigger time, true time. From the moment you got triggered until the moment you realize you got triggered, and now what do you do with it? And how we go forward. And the more we recognize it, it becomes real time. It works real time. So recognizing that we are shielded, kind of blindfolded by a bunch of bullies. And on the other hand, we have our guardians, we have spirits, we have ETs, we have God, we have everybody in the universe is here to help us to bring people, to put people like acupuncture points, like acupuncture needles on Earth, to have a beacon, another one to have a beacon, another one to have a beacon. All these G5 towers at night, what it is, I've seen this as I'm driving the mountains of Tzfat, because the mountains coming up are very curvy. They are red dots. Now, of course, for flying airplanes, but they're not that high. No airplane flies that low to hit it. But it's a beacon. And those of you who like science fiction and sees X-Men, remember the Doctor, he could go into this room and be able to see all the mutants, and they all appeared as red dots. This is exactly what it is. Those are receptors, and they're here. And those who are infested and injected and being with all of this are being radio transistors. It's like transistors, receivers to receive and send information. This is still the story level. It is for us to wake up. These things are narrowing down. Everything is narrowing down. Everything now is narrowing down. It's tense. And this is what I feel here. It's going to pop. Like, we are before popping, really. We are before popping. And those of us who see that things are not just as they are. No, you don't see Wi-Fi waves, and yet you can go to India with it. You can go travel virtually. You don't see infrared, but the infrared can take down a missile. Right? So there are things that are here. And so how do we deal with this? How do we look at this? How do we apply it to our place? The main thing that this entity, let's call it, the entity that is creating this separation between us and sickness and all this game to awake, really don't want us to be united. They don't want us to think critically. They don't want us to understand that what is happening is actually happening for our good. Thank you very much. We got 5 more minutes to wrap up. Soon we're starting here Shabbos. They don't want us to be together. They don't want us to come together. And that is the fear. That is the fear. And when we recognize that, when we understand that our power is in our togetherness, then we can have a breeze of understanding. As I stand here, somewhere on the beach, I can feel this breeze of nothingness. Just to be. The breeze of nothingness brings this recognition, this understanding that we're just here to be and to enjoy and to be beautiful and to be good, because we are coming good in our basics. And to enjoy one another and to come together and to bring things together and to do things together, to talk together and to communicate together, and recognizing that all those little things that are why he, who said all this, this is really part that is blindfolding us. This is not a shield anymore. It is a blindfold. Let's open that blindfold and let's see. Shabbat Shalom, Arrivederci, Sayonara, Ma Salama, Shabbat Shalom. Bye-bye.